Here's a memorable moment from the Adam Carolla Show's Ace Awards archives.
So, Bert, it's one of my favorite movies as well. I think you're amazing in it. And I just heard a rumor that you weren't proud of it or happy about being in it, but that was just a rumor, and I don't know. But now we can figure that out. Do you have feelings about Boogie Nights?
I liked very much the first scene, which I did, and all that. So that's why I did it. But it was a subject matter that I wasn't thrilled with.
It offended your delicate sensibilities?
No, I still do that. You're gonna do that kind of shit with me, I can kill you.
The 2025 Ace Awards, coming this December. Now back to the Adam Carolla Show.
The late great Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Had a good run, man.
He didn't kill you.
No, I think I may have outlived him. All right, we'll get into some news with Alicia Krause.
Yes.
Her op-ed for the Washington Examiner, Newsmakers. It's weekly, right?
Yeah, it is. They
All
keep
right.
having me back. I don't know why.
Well, you must be doing something right.
Same here.
All right, yeah. All right, I went out and toured Malibu because
Oh, wow.
I realized we're right about the 6-month anniversary
Isn't it weird?
of destruction, and nothing is going on over there. They cleared most all the sites, been cleared of debris.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's something I didn't really think about that people need to kind of think about, and I think we married some of the visual stuff to my prediction from my hotel room the day after, the morning after. But in Malibu, when you're along PCH, when you're along the ocean,
Mm-hmm. I was there this weekend too.
they were
Yeah.
clearing the debris, so to speak, is one part of the job, and it's fairly easy and simple. The tough part that they haven't even touched is the foundation.
I know.
All of those pylons going down into the earth, and
Yep.
the caissons and the grade beams and the footings. I mean, some of that stuff looks like a bunker.
And it's all that's left.
It's
Like
all
when
that's
you're
left,
driving,
but
yeah.
clearing out the burnt out stucco and 2x4s and
Mhm.
redwood fencing is pretty lightweight. Getting that stuff out of the ground, which is still there, is a completely different situation.
Yep.
I mean, that's like bunker buster type material to get some of that stuff
We'll
cleaned
get
up.
some U.S. bombers to come in.
Trump says he's calling a strike on Karen Bass. And so I said to my guys, I said, look, I went there and filmed before they cleared the place out.
Mhm.
And I said, let's go back and see where they're at in 6 months, which is now. And we filmed again. And I said, marry that footage to me in my hotel room the following morning after I was displaced from Malibu, and my predictions. It's about 4 minutes, but it went a little bit viral. The following morning after the fire, I left at, I don't know, 8 or 9 at night the night before, checked into a hotel in Burbank. The power was out. It's interesting, kids, if you're listening. I get displaced sort of in the middle of the night
Uh-huh.
and pack up whatever socks and underpants I can put under my arm and go to a bad hotel in Burbank and check in.
Because what people that don't live here don't realize is Malibu is like this long stretch along the coast, and there's very few like canyon roads that go through. And other friends that were displaced from Palisades, Altatina, and Malibu, there were no hotels in a certain vicinity.
Yeah,
And so
there's
you're kind of lucky that you could even get one 35 miles away in Burbank.
Yeah, and so the following morning, the winds were so gusty that when I woke up the following morning, I was told that the power was out in Burbank, or I should say in Glendale, where my studio is. So now it's the morning of after, and there is no power in this building that we broadcast from. So I sort of went, well, just run a best of or something. I don't, the power's out. I got displaced. There's no studio.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on, and just run find me interviewing Bryan Cranston or something. Just play that. People understand. But then I thought, I don't know. It's a little bit of a moment, and I guess people would be listening from parts of the country, the world. Maybe they'd want to know my bird's eye view of what happened since I was there. So
that's not a bird's eye view. That's like a in the weeds,
I should say,
view and like emotional experience.
You're right. You're right. Even though I don't get emotional, but you're right. It's not a bird's eye view. It's it's a boots on the ground kind of view.
Yeah.
So I think we hit up Dawson and told him get a mic and bring it over and hook it up, and we'll just take a iPhone and put it on a tripod. And I was literally in my hotel room in Burbank. I just pulled the table over and pushed a sofa and got a chair and just sat it down. And I just went on a, solo soliloquy. Probably lasted 45 or 50 minutes. And it ended up going viral just because it was authentic and you could tell I was not in a studio and I was speaking the truth. But anyway, my predictions 6 months ago, which was literally about 10 hours after the fire. Here's my California Malibu Palisades recovery permit prediction, and we'll marry it to the drone footage of what's not going on over there. You will not see any new construction. The comedy is the guys who lost their $20 million homes on the ocean side of PCH will be knee-deep in the permit process. They will be trying to pull permits when the guys in the Winnebagos will have been back for months. Homeless.
Months before those guys ever get a permit. As a matter of fact, good fucking luck. Because here's the deal. Alan Hamill and Suzanne Summers moved because they could not get a permit to rebuild their home of 40 years on the ocean on PCH, right? So here's what's going to happen. Let me just give you guys a little primer of what's going to happen. You know how Bill Maher seems real conservative now when he's like arguing with Jane Fonda about regulations, too many regulations, like strangling everything? Because remember, when Bill Maher tried to put solar in his house in Beverly Hills, that's when he turned against the government. Because he saw what the government and the overreach of government and overregulation does. He got strangled. It took him 3 years to build a solar shack. He had a whole countdown on his show, day 1,000 since I've got my permit for my solar. He turned. Okay. The people who live in Malibu, who live in Santa Monica, who live in the Palisades, those are some of the most progressive blue voters in the world, or in the United States. They are a bastion of blue. So what those guys did is all the people in the Palisades, I checked it out. It's about 80% blue, 80% progressive, 80% Democrat. Now, these pussies are all sitting around crying about Karen Bass, water pressure, how come the forest wasn't cleared of all the brush, what's happening with the infrastructure. You guys all voted for Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. We all voted for Adam. And now you fucking get what you get. Oh, now that your house is on fire, well, now you're thinking about something else. Now you want to know what's going on. What's going on around here? You didn't give a shit about what was going on when other people's houses were on fire, but now you care. So here's what's going to happen. All these people who are deep blue Democrats are now going to have to pull a permit to rebuild. And they're going to get the 28-year-old bitch from the Coastal Commission, tell them to go fuck off. And then they're going to vote for Trump, or whoever's Trumpian next. You see, they're going to get turned. They're going to get turned hard because, as I've always said, live in the rent control apartment in Santa Monica, fine, good. We know how you vote. Go deal with the city. Try to pull a permit. These are going to be thousands of homes, super wealthy people, and these people don't want to live in Van Nuys. They like it where they are. They love Malibu. They love the Palisades. They love Santa Monica. There's going to be a whole bunch of rich people, and they're going to go, I'm rebuilding. and I want to rebuild as fast as I can. And between the part where they go in to planning commission and plan check and initially try to pull a permit to the time the first load of lumber, the first load of 2x4s is dropped off on their lot where their house formerly stood, it's going to be 3 years. And 1,000 permits and 1,000 arguments and 1,000 discussions with the Coastal Commission. When they start getting the regulation, they're going to go nuts. And when they start running into the bureaucracy and the red tape, they're going to start going nuts, and they're going to vote for Rick Caruso next time because they want to give. That's all Trump says. We're going to pull back the regulations. We're going to free people up. They're going to find out. They're going to get bit by their own snake. They are going to convert. I am telling you, these are the bluest people on the planet, and they're going to be fucking ripshit pissed when the city and the Coastal Commission tell them to fuck off. And by the way, I don't think the Coastal Commission is going to okay anyone rebuilding any of their houses on the coast because they say they're in the business of protecting the coast. They're in the business of getting you to leave. They will get their wish, which is no buildings. And they're going to make it hard for everyone. And then we're going to have to restructure the whole thing because we can't have 9 angry lesbians controlling everything that goes on in Malibu, the Palisades, and Santa Monica.
All right, so 6 months in, 0 building going on.
Yeah.
0.
And it's not just Malibu, though. It's broadly, I was, because I'm a nerd, I went to something about the restructuring and rebuilding of Los Angeles out at Pepperdine's School of Public Policy. And there was a Democratic congressman, I can't remember his name, and he was trying to say, like, oh no, we've sped up the permits. Our church is providing rent-free space to a church from the Palisades that still hasn't gotten the permits to rebuild their preschool in their church.
Oh.
Like, that's a religious, not even like super rich multimillionaires and billionaires that want to rebuild their mansions on the coast.
Yeah.
Like, these are like average, middle class, lower income, like religious people that want to have an affordable place to send their kids to preschool and go to church on Sunday. And the government still hasn't given them permits.
Well, it's really what we call it permits. What they want is control. Permit is control.
Right, yes.
What do you want to do? I'd like to rebuild my church. Oh yeah? You want to do that? Yeah. No. How about that? And what else do you want to do? I'd like to turn my garage into a small apartment. Who wants to do that? I do. Who's paying for it? I am. No. How about that? Who's in charge? Who's really in charge? You know what I mean? No permit for you. Now, I don't live in... These bitches don't even live... The Coastal Commission people, no one lives in Malibu. No one lives in the Palisades. They could never afford it.
Maybe they're depressed, and so they're just up in Sacramento, like...
Yes, they are.
Everything.
That's their hobby, is controlling you. Hey, you need to wear a mask. Where? Everywhere. How about when I play the bassoon in the Philharmonic? Yeah, put a hole in it. Who's in control, bitch? We are. We're in control. We'll fucking tell you everything to do.
So what, say you did have all the money in the world and you had the resources to just, I don't know that there's a contractor or anybody in LA County that if you're like, here's the money, just go do it without the permits.
There should be a fucking, there should be a revolt. There just should be a large,
like I'm saying, how many people can we create a revolution? How many people do you need to just take back their own freaking property? Remember they had this issue?
There's a job called an expediter.
Yes.
Where you have to go pay somebody who goes, listen, I know how the city works.
Yes.
I can, but you got to pay me.
That's so
and I'll go deal with the city. It's like,
yep.
Oh, I think they call it, it's sort of like bribery. Like, I'll bribe a guy who knows guys and plan check so I can get this fucking thing that should have taken 2 days done in 6 months instead of 6 years.
Only in government that is filled with progressives do they claim to want equity and equality, more so equity than equality, and they require somebody like you're in communist Russia to like wink wink nod nod, handshake, cash in hand deal to get things done for people with means.
It's been 6 months.
Because people without means can't do that.
I toured all over Malibu and the Palisades There's not one sheet of plywood, 2x4. There's no building materials. There's zero building. There are trucks that are still hauling debris, and there's long arm excavators for like getting debris off the side of the hill, but there is zero in the building department. Nothing new, nothing going on. Karen Bass sent out a picture like 6 weeks ago with just one house being framed
Yeah,
somewhere.
didn't she have like a ribbon cutting ceremony for something and being like, we're speeding up permits and
They're not doing anything.
No.
They don't care. They don't want to. They don't know how to do it, and they're not interested in you or your permits. And they don't work for you. You obey them.
They've also, it's because they've never built anything.
They've never done. Karen Bass is
I mean, not to quote Barack Obama, but she didn't build that, right?
No.
Like, she did not. She's never built a business.
No,
she's never like had employees that weren't paid by taxpayer dollars.
They have disdain for people that build stuff. It kind of shames them, I think, is part of it. Yes, no, they're incompetent.
Oh, you think it's internal shame, and that's why they like to screw over businesses?
I think
That's interesting.
There's a bit of shame. Listen, if you've ever been in a relationship or even had a roommate where they spent a lot of time on the sofa, and you went, look, you got a sink full of dishes from 2 days ago. You made lasagna. And they go, yeah, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. And you go, you know what? I'll just take care of it. You go start doing their dishes. They never come in the kitchen and go, oh, thank you very much for doing it. They're more angry. Like, okay, dude, you made all the dishes. You left them in our sink for 2 days. Now I'm cleaning your dishes, and you're actually more pissed. But are you more pissed, or are you shamed?
Oh, or maybe that was a part of their evil plan all along, is to make you do their dishes.
They get shamed. Karen Bass and all those whoever's never ran a business, never fucking did anything, can't put in a light bulb, can't build a house, forget about, pulling a permit, building a house. And they don't like the people that are doing things. It shames them. And Karen Bass tweeted out a video. Oh yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, this was the one I saw. Homes are under construction. We've cut the red tape.
No, well, first off, I feel like it's one picture of a house that I've never seen. I don't know where this is.
It's in the Palisades.
There's nothing else around it being built. And by the way, it's not like there's one house that's framed and sheer wall and the roof is skinned and everything with plywood.